that time of year again when I need to make my sister's birthday card. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I make her a gorgeous birthday card every year. I've done it for about the last 5 years. It kind of started off accidentally because I did 2 or 3 years in a row and then suddenly realised that I did it every year. But she loves the Gorjuss range, so now it's kind of become a tradition. This time I'm going to use Little Leaf. So that's this stamp set, sorry for any glare. And also Little Friend. Last year I used Every Summer Has a Story, which is the watermelon Gorjuss Girl, and I used my Kuretake watercolour pens. This time I am going to use my Copic markers and just hope that I can get some good shading with them. So firstly I obviously need to stamp them out, and what I'm going to do is use the frame from Little Friend and the Gorjuss Girl from Little Leaf, because actually works quite nicely in there. I don't mind that it's obviously a bit cut off by the frame, because that makes it just look like it's going in to the frame there. Also loses her feet, but again, not worried about that. I need to obviously stamp them out, and I'm also going to clear heat emboss them, just so it'll give me a better line and a slightly raised edge, so my Copics don't drift hopefully into areas that they shouldn't, but that will mostly be down to me. Yeah, so I just need to print these out, stamp these out, and colour them in, and then I'll come back. Just a couple of things to mention at this point. First of all, if you're using the Santoro Gorjuss stamps, or any stamps with the red rubber and the cling, you use your press to impress, you will need to take the foam out, because that's too thick with that in. So that's just something that I forgot to mention. And this doesn't go quite to the edges, so I've got a couple of options. I could just draw it in with I'm using the Kuretake Millennium pens, and if I want to heat emboss it, I can go over it with my embossing. This is the Whispers one, which I've had for ages. The only thing is they aren't very sharp points, so on doing it on a bit of scrap, I have noticed that it does emboss the line, but you do get a slight waxiness around it, because obviously the embossing pen is slightly wider than the line, which will mean that I can't colour over that bit, because it will be like a resist. So I'm not too worried. I'm just going to draw it in with the pen. It's not going to notice too much that it's not embossed. There we go, that's that side. Then, I could just finish this one and put a line across, so it's just as if it's the end of the branch, but I'm going to take it to the edge of the paper, and because it's quite thick, although I'm using the thinnest pen, I am sort of scribbling along that line rather than drawing a delicate line, because I want it to look obviously the same thickness. So that's fine, that finishes that off, and nobody will know. I can also add some lines like that, just so it looks a bit more in keeping. I've also got in this the Little Leaf set some leaves, so I could always sort of hide that with those as well if I wanted to. And again, you'll see that her feet have just cut off a little bit too far, so what I did was put just a piece of paper over there, just so that her feet weren't dangling in the leaves and it kind of looked a bit odd. So again, I can just go over with my pen, just sort of round that off. And she has got stripes going all the way down. So there we go, and that's perfect. So it's now as if her feet are behind the roses. Apologies for the shadows, the light has gone really dull, so I've got my lights on and it's creating shadows, unfortunately. I've decided to add a bit more to this background by using one of the stamps from this Amala Autumn Leaf set. I thought this one here worked quite well with the shape of those leaves. So I just thought that would be a bit more interest on the background. And I've also got some ribbons. Now these are actually Gorjuss ribbons. So so this one actually does have the Gorjuss on. And I think this is from a D-stash. These ones they are Gorjuss, but they were just in Gorjuss packaging basically. But they were reduced when I bought them. So like this green one, which I think will work well because it's the same sort of green that I've used there, so I'm going to use that as well. I haven't used all the ribbon, so I've just snipped two ends off that are long enough to just slip under that, so I've still got some left to use for another time. And I'm going to use some sentiments out of this 12 Months of Flowers stamp set that was a freebie with the magazine. I'm hoping that I'll be able to pop it across the bottom because I'm using three different stamps. So this says sending lots of love, and these say on your birthday, and this one says birthday. So I'm hoping if I stagger them, they will look right. Anyway, I need to put it in my press to impress to make sure that I get it perfectly positioned. I've added the sentiment, so that's finished now. I'm not entirely sure about the sentiment. I think it might have got a little bit lost in the water, or this leaf stamp, because that looks like a watermark because obviously it's a second generation. But I have added some white highlights, and I think it just looks a bit, because the light in here is so bad at the moment, it's not really showing up very well, but I'm quite pleased with that. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a thumbs up and a comment, and until next time, cheerio.